I'm going to continue my work on this outboard motor, and today we're going to get this lower unit put back together. Hope you follow to the end, see if I know how to do this. I was trying to remember if I've ever had this apart before. I've owned this motor for a long time and my memory isn't that great. I may have, but I certainly don't recall. So follow to the end and see if we can't get this thing put back together. Join me as I share stories of my life as a kid, bringing junk home and turning it into something useful. Fact is, I'm still doing this today at age 69. Start with, we have this right here. We have the shaft, and what we're going to do is put new seals in this, which I have setting right over here. I'll grab them quick and show them to you. I just went online and did a little research on this and found these, some Marina. I don't have the numbers or anything like that, but these are, I'm pretty certain, pretty universal for other engines, other than this Mercury 20 horse 1986 model outboard. But let's get right to it and see if we can't put this thing back together. I've moved over to my workbench here, and I have the part that we're going to put the new seals in. I have the lower seal, which goes in first. It's a little smaller in diameter. I have the upper seal, which goes in second. And then I have two different size deep well sockets that I'm going to use to push those in. And you can see I filed or ground that socket off smooth on top, and two reasons. It gives me a flatter edge and a wider edge to push the seal in with. Plus, when I use that socket, it grips the entirety of the nut by having this ground down a little bit in relationship to one that isn't ground down. So those are the two sockets that I'm going to use as my bearing installer. Pretty sure I have a bearing installer kit here somewhere. I'm not going to dig it out. This is quicker. There's one other thing I'm going to do is I have this special grease made for, actually it's for plumbing on the O-rings when you're rebuilding faucets. It's a silicone, very, very sticky grease that just let things slide easier. I'll be putting this on the rubber components of the new seals, plus I will put just a thin layer on the outside of the seal, the metal area, so that it can slide in easier. Enough talking, let's get right to it. I'm going to bring you down here where you can see what I'm doing. You see those parts here. The first thing we're going to do is grab the smaller seal. As I said, we're going to put just a little bit of this grease. It's a good thing it only takes a little because that's all I got left. We're going to put that in there like that. Okay, we'll get her down in there. Get her started, hopefully. Well, I hope that goes in. Looks like it should. Let's take this and tap on it. Hear that solid wrap now? That tells me it's all the way in there. Let's take a look at it. You can't see down in there very good, but it sure looks like it is. I'm going to put just a little bit more on it. I should have stopped when I was ahead. I just ruined that seal. Well, let's get it back out of there. It's not going to work like that. That goes to show you it's very easy to mess stuff up. I should have quit when I was ahead. I'm going to have to reorder that seal. Well, shoot. And I was hoping to get this done today. It's going to have to wait for another day. I'm going to order that seal again. You can see I bent that. It was in there just fine when I said it was. And I gave it a couple more wraps thinking I was going to seat it in tight. And I did. Smashed the whole seal. Daggone it. Oh well. When I get that new one in, we will bring you back and we will go for it again. Well, I'm back here again, and hopefully this time I won't mess up my seal. I ordered a new one, got it in. Let's see if we can put this together the second time. Bring you down here so you can actually see what I'm doing. Right there's the part we're working on. I'm going to focus in on that, hone in just a little bit so you can see it. Okay, let's open this bag up. Let's take our part out. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to put this these old destroyed parts in this bag along with the part number in case I ever need to buy this again. This will just make it easier. Okay, I need to get my silicone grease and grease this, so just hang on. All this is a plumber's grease. It's really slippery. You put it on your rubber components. It'll make the everything slide easier. It's designed for O-rings and that sort of thing when you're putting plumbing parts together, but I find that it works real well with what I'm doing. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is slip this back in there. To get it started, I'm going to use this bigger one. I'm going to put this side down, it's flatter, and then I'm going to wrap on that just a little bit. And I've got it started. I don't want to make the same mistake twice. That's seated in there really well. We're going to leave good enough alone. Now we're going to get the next seal. And according to the way I took the old one apart, I saved the parts so I can remember how. You can see that I was prying off of this one. So that tells me it goes in just like this side up. And I think common sense would tell you that as well. So let's get a little bit more of this silicone grease and just put a thin layer right here. And let's put some on that rubber. And this one's just a little bigger than the first one. So this one we can use this, work real well. It started, I think. We're where we need to be. Okay, we're going to move over to the other workbench. Okay, I have the basic parts here to put this back together. What I want to bring to your attention is this pin. It's got two directions it can go in. You've got a chamfered edge and you've got a flat edge. Now the mistake I made is I did not pay any attention to how that fell out. But if you look at the wear pattern on that, you see how that's shiny on that end here and how it's dark on this end? That tells me that that pin went in like this. It lines up perfectly with my wear pattern there. And looking inside the housing here, it just makes common sense that that chamfered edge goes towards, because what that does is when you shift, that pushes this in and out just a little bit. Anyway, that's my theory. But let's get this put back together. First thing I want to do is I'm going to get the light down a little. I want to take this shaft right here and put just a little bit of this silicone grease on here where those seals will rub. And then I'm going to try to slide this in without losing my pin. And I think the way I'm going to do that is put just a little bit of grease on it, and see, that should hold that in place. Oops, fell right out of there. Let's try that again. Maybe if I go like this, I'm just going to dab a little bit of grease, and yep, now it's staying. And it slides easy, and that's what it's supposed to do. So let's put it in there. I'm going to slip it right in, just like that. And that works perfect. Oh yeah. Now we're going to turn this part back on, and if you remember me saying something, it's got an off with arrow and on with arrow. So this slides in and turns this direction. Let's see if we can't get it back together. It started. I made this makeshift spanner wrench. There's a video out on that to turn this on, and let's just see what happens. That turned right in there. So let's get me my spanner wrench tool that I put in here. It's very sophisticated. Where is it? It's just a large Phillips screwdriver. I'm pretty certain this is supposed to have a torque to it. Quite frankly, I don't know what that is. I know it sure jarred these old bones when I took it off. Those of you who do this for a living are gonna cringe at the way I'm going about this, I'm sure. Oh boy, that's going right on there. That's tight. And that still turns. Let's check something. Put it in gear. It's in gear right there. And now it don't turn. It does go back, but it won't go forward. Let's put it in reverse and see what happens. It's locked in. Okay, there we go. The next step that I'm going to do, be it right or wrong, is I'm going to install this new rubber O-ring, and I have the seal. I'm going to get it, that goes in like that, and then this goes over, and then all the seals will be replaced in this motor. I'm going to put just a little bit of grease on this. Let's use the silicone grease again. I'll show you here. I'm about out of it, but I think I got enough. I'm going to put just a little bit on it. And I'm going to drop that down in there. Take a look. It falls right into a groove. Apologize for not having it set up so you can actually see this. But I'm going to take a wrench and just pop that down in that groove. And it went right in place. So we're good there. Remember, I said I had filled this with grease. Maybe you didn't know that. I filled this socket with grease. And the reason for that is it creates a suction. And then when I put the screw or the bolt in there, it just, see how that springs back up there? It creates a suction and allows me to align this. This side's the clean sides. So, and this side has obvious signs that it was out, so I'm going to put it out. And I want to show you something here. You really do need to see this, so come right here with me. Let me see if I can get you down here where... This right here, I'm going to lean you in and shine right down in there. This has grooves, 3 grooves right here. That tells me where to align that ring because I got to get my socket down in there like this here. And you can see that, let's see if that starts. I don't know if it's starting or not, but I can always... Yep, that started, so you can see what I'm doing. It's stuck right in there, lined up. Now let me get the others in. Okay, I have those all tightened up, torqued down to click. Now let's put what goes on next. This piece right here, and this goes down in there, so that's the way it goes. I'm going to do myself a favor and put a little grease on these splines. If you're ever out in the middle of a Canadian lake and you have to replace your prop, in the middle of the lake, the motor hanging over, you don't want that thing stuck. So, there's no right or wrong reason for this. We'll put some grease right there. That slides nicely. I think this is the way that goes. That goes down on there. And we have the nut. There you have it. Put it back in gear. That's forward. Well, everything feels right. To be honest with you, I don't know if the thing's put back together right or not, but I think it is. I have nothing to lose on this, everything to gain. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But we're going to call this video complete. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed already, I hope you found that this is interesting enough to follow along and that you would hit that subscribe button. Can it be fixed? Sure it can. Can you fix it? You're darn right you can. Until the next one.